Welcome everybody to another show. This time in reverse mode. Usually we are talking in a collab discussion all together, but this time they are all to myself this time. So please welcome the crew from Podcast of the Paranormal, Gabrielle and Jody.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
It's good. Hello. Yes. So how is the air quality for you guys with this wildfire crap? It's kind of hit or miss here.
It's not good.
Yeah, I have a sore throat. We went through it the last couple of days, and I don't know when you're going to release this. I don't want to date your episode, but yeah, we're dealing with the Canadian wildfires. It is hot and humid, and there's a lot of smoke in the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be August 3rd for if they're watching or listening, so this is not going to be that far behind. But if you are listening on that day, then yeah, it is still hot and muggy and everything disgusting when it comes to this type of weird weather that's been going on. I guess we could almost say with these wildfires, just more like cleansing to regrow the earth, as people are now trying to say. But
yeah,
how many wildfires do we need to regrow the earth? I guess I don't know.
Hopefully by August 3rd, it's gone and done and over with. So
yeah, that'll be a little bit cooler months. We're heading into that fall weather and right back to that winter crap. So maybe I just need.
Paul. I can't wait till the cool nights again.
I can't wait for my hoodie weather. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, just to be fair, I wear hoodies even during winter time because it's just like, as long as it's not terrible. But I mean, if it's not terrible, like negative whatever degrees, I'll definitely wear a hoodie. So, but that's just me. But anyway, enough about weather and crap because I know some people hate that. But anyway, Jody and Gabrielle. I know, Gabrielle, you have been investigating prior to all this, like back in your college years, as I remember. And Jody, you kind of said you were dragged into it, thanks to Gabrielle, or maybe it might have not been dragged into it, but you were still somehow dragged into it. And so
I did the goofy kid shit when I was younger. You know what I mean? Oh, is that all right?
If I define that, what do you mean?
Is that all right if I curse, Paul? I didn't.
Oh yeah. People curse all the
time. Anyway, yeah, I did the weird kid shit where like we went in the woods, we went looking for things, monsters and ghosts and stuff like that. I didn't take it seriously though. It wasn't. It wasn't really a. Now after, being married to Gabrielle we're married 10 years now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just past 10-year anniversary.
There you go.
Yeah, she always had me into like the horror movies and the ghost stuff and the TV shows and all that. And then within the past few years, we really got into it and started doing our own thing and starting the podcast the Paranormal. And it's kind of become a hobby, lifestyle.
Yeah, a hobby, expensive hobby.
But
and a lifestyle, definitely, yeah.
But I'll let Gabrielle talk about how she got into it.
Yeah, I started in college. We had a team. And I did that for a couple of years. I think it was like 2 or 3 years. And then I left that team. And then when I was back in school, Jody and I kind of got into it just because I wanted some kind of like self-care. And we've kind of been back at it now for like 7 years. But like we really didn't get serious about it until about 2-3 years ago.
What made you kind of decide you wanted to, take it more like as a serious approach? Just because of like how you just mentioned self-care, or was it just because it was kind of sort of like, well, it gives us something to do, explore places and know what's out there?
It was kind of like, I think it's our turn maybe to throw like, our hat in the ring and give our opinion on things. I've been doing this for so long, it just kind of seemed like the next step.
And there wasn't too much of it in the area. We had one local group that was doing this stuff.
Yeah.
I think we only have one team in the area that
we have a few
public investigations. I mean, in our immediate area. Yeah. And, we still go on investigations with them every time they open up a new location because sometimes we can't get into those locations, but they have a whole business going, so they get in there. So we go with them on their public investigation nights. It's just neat to get inside these old buildings at night. And, it's like walking around in history. But we were saying, hey, this is something we could do on our own, not as a business, but as just like a personal sort of hobby. So we started calling up places and renting them out for the night and doing our investigations. And then we go to some of the bigger places like Fort Mifflin down in Philadelphia. And what else have we done? Geez, Pennhurst just recently. It's all pay to play, you know what I mean? So like when you go in those public investigations, it's like, let's talk to them and see if we could do a private. And usually they run for about, I don't know, anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a night, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
So it's a lot. So you got to bring a few extra people with you to split the cost of that. But I don't want to say it's taken over our life, but you get that mix of, American history and like the spook factor. And I think, I just think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if I can just also just put my 2 cents in on that comment that you were talking about trying to rent out a place and, because of the prices, 2 people split in half may not, or as a couple would just say, you're paying for the whole damn thing. But if you guys can get that extra hands on, I mean, I remember trying to set up a Wilson Castle thing, not once, but twice. But I was trying to take serious inquiries, but I also feel like that's hard too, because I don't know specific people reaching out to me. Like, how do I know they're going to bring a good time and take it serious versus maybe ruin it for, the next time trying to get in, Well,
and that's the problem with public investigations too, right? You never know what you're going to get.
You're going to get a hit or miss.
Yeah. I know it. We've had great experiences down at Fort Mifflin. We've gone, 4 or 5 times now.
Yeah, probably.
And every time, everybody's pretty respectful. You know what I mean? They don't talk over each other. They don't barge in and say, start talking while you're trying to, conduct an investigation. But the last time we went was rough. We had some younger kids there, and all they were doing was running around the field. We had the one dude who was flirting with all the girls, and
yeah,
but Gabrielle got a headache that night, so we ended up leaving early anyway. Yeah, we didn't get to stay till 2 a.m. We left around, it was probably around 11:30 somewhere.
I don't even think we stayed that late.
Yeah, it happens.
No.
Yeah, it's a bummer. You pay like at that place it might have been $100 a head, and if you get sick, you get sick. That's it.
Yeah,
it's an expensive hobby. It is not cheap at all.
No, I totally agree. That's why I really try to hang on for like that last minute. Like I do feel not sick enough to do this, but that would suck because the local team that I've known who started like around 2004, they invited me to do Wilson Castle with them back, not last year, sorry. I'm getting my years mixed up again. July in 2024. But like that was 125, I think, for me just to do that, which was great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, that was a great night for the first time being there, but I don't know what shifted in the air, unless it was just some of the people that were with us the second time, and that's why I kind of say hit or miss. But I mean, it's just weird how, like, the first time I was there, the activity for Wilson Castle was just bonkers, especially after midnight. And then we went back, or they invited me back 2 months later, and it was like there was a little bit of activity, and then it was just like that was it. And that was like like another $125, I think it was.
Yeah, it's hit or miss. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get. That stuff's not going to perform for you.
Right.
But I think you're right. I think it really does matter with the people you're with.
Yeah.
We've been with some people that'll just suck the life and the energy out of the room. you know, and you're halfway through the night, you just give up, you throw your hands up in the air, and just like, well, I'm along for the ride at this point. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think the only cool thing about it is right now I can say I've spent the night in Wilson Castle twice. So I took the full experience, even though it wasn't
Nice.
You know, like I don't want to say a good time the second time around, but it wasn't as active alive the second time around. And I mean, that's why I think with the first time going there, I ended up making like I think 13 videos, but there would have been more, but my batteries kept dying near the end of the night, and my phone ended up dying right before this interesting white mist showed up.
Yeah.
That like darted from like left to right, going toward like where the two people like sat down like a singing bowl. So that just became a personal experience to me, even though I have no proof of that. But I'll never forget it. It was like this weird white mist just darting from left to right, almost like a stick figure in a way. It was so weird, but I just remember seeing that, and I was just like, "Oh my God, there's a camera behind me." I'm like, I really hope it was captured on that camera, but it wasn't. So
yeah, I feel like I kind of agree with you there. A lot of the places that we've gone to multiple times, the first time you go, you I feel like overall the first time you go, you have more experiences than repeated visits. And I don't know if there's something to that, but then again, you got to factor in the people you're with. You might be with the different people, and
we had different people the second time around, and we had less people, so it wasn't as so the first time 1, 2, 3, 4 2, 3 so I think we had like 8 people the first time, so it was like 2 groups split up into 4 people, which was fine. You think that's big, but it's really not, especially when you have one group downstairs in the castle and the second group might be on the second floor or third floor even. So like, I mean, it worked out. But the second time, 1, 2, I think we had like 5 people. So even though we were 3 people less, it was just, I don't know, interesting environment. Like, it's like we keep kind of saying, it was just like maybe it just depends on who we're with. But with that being said, you guys have some interesting stories. So I guess I know you kind of dabbed into it a little bit, but what would you say would be the definitive experience that you guys had that made you start to wonder what is going on in the mysterious beyond?
Well, we started this whole thing. We didn't even hit the podcast, wasn't even a thing yet.
No.
We were just trying to get friends together to, like basically split the cost and go to these places. And to sort of break the ice, we went to a local wooded area that's known to have local legends. You got everything up there, right, Gabrielle? The White Lady. What else?
Yeah, it has White Lady. I think there's there's like an old almshouse that used to be there. It's like a really old town, so it's been there for like a few hundred years. What else? There's like a whole bunch of different types of urban legends that have been associated with the location over the years, like things like occult rituals, people going out there doing that is what you would hear as a kid. You would hear about the White Ladies as a kid.
The entities in the back seat, stuff like that. If just any urban legend.
It's kind of like the hitchhiker stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was actually a hitchhiker story.
Yeah.
Right, if I recall. Yeah.
There's one nearby.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so we had decided... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say just the famous one, basically, probably like you look in the back seat and there's nobody there, and all of a sudden he shows up in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's all I was going to say.
This is the one where you have to like stop your car, turn off the lights, flash the lights, honk the horn.
Oh.
And then like a phantom car shows up.
Oh.
Yeah. And starts to chase you.
Oh.
And you have to beat the car or the car steals your soul. So, yeah. So that's like maybe like a couple miles away near a cemetery. But then in this area, this like more of the woman, her and her husband were married. They're attacked. She's killed. He's like badly beaten. And now if you're like walking the road at night or driving the road at night, sometimes she'll appear to you and try to get into your vehicle.
Yeah. And that's what we went for. We went for just, to just kick around and investigate those sort of things, see if we could get anything to happen.
It was something when I was with my team in college, it was what we would do. It was how we would start every year. We would start with what we called Urban Legend Night. So we would go to a few local places that had urban legends associated. We would investigate. At the end of the night, we'd go back to the most active place with whoever was still around, whoever wanted to stay. And then we'd do like a second investigation. So I said, hey, I've never gone to this location during our urban legend nights. So I'd like to go check it out, see what it's about. So we had gone. It was our first investigation. And we brought, it was me and Jody, another member of our team. And then my daughter and her fiance came with us too. So it was just the 5 of us that night. It was pretty wild though.
It was.
What was the story behind this particular place?
So we'll set the scene.
Okay.
We liked to go like an hour or so before dark so you could get kind of like your bearings, know the land a little bit. And then when it gets dark, you're not like so unfamiliar with everything. And then you're also not like walking in the dark. So we had gone out. It was our first time there. So we kind of like chose a spot, which is a spot we go to all the time now. Like every time we go, we're stopping there and that's where we're doing our investigation. So there was like, it was the day after the full moon, but the moon was so bright that we didn't need flashlights or anything. So that was probably the best part of the night, was that it was just really kind of bright and it like illuminated for us. So we're investigating for maybe like hour and a half, 2 hours. We're there.
Yeah, we're probably a mile back in the woods.
Yeah.
Maybe a mile.
We're about a mile in. And so it's just the 5 of us like walking around, and my daughter's fiance starts seeing shadows. So he's like they're going off to look and, see what's happening. There's a creek like right next to you. And it's like a babbling brook. So you're always thinking like there's somebody talking. You can hear people talking. So that's like kind of like messing with like your perception. So they came back and they were like, hey, we're going to head out. So we were like, all right, we'll walk you out. Like it's getting pretty late. We'll walk you out. So we all walk out together and we get to where we had parked our cars, and then they leave. But then the 3 of us are still there and we're talking because we had another investigation coming up in like 2 months. So we were just kind of talking, going over the details of that, other things we wanted to do, like getting ideas. And then it's probably like 11:30 at this point. And I start hearing like these noises, like over on the other side of the road. There's like it's like wooded and there's like an embankment. So I start hearing like all these noises and I'm starting to get nervous because I'm like, oh no, there's an animal there. But Jody's like, it's just a raccoon. Like, calm down, right? So I'm like, all right, it's just a raccoon. So then not very long after that, I think a deer comes out and like jumps over the embankment, like comes at us. And I got so scared, I jumped back and nobody else saw it. So I'm like, there was a deer. And they're like, you're crazy. I'm like, no, there was a deer. Like it just jumped into the road at us. And then, so we're still standing there. We're just talking. And next thing I know, there's like, there's a gate across the road. And it's like a black shadow, almost like a man is like hunched down. And no, yeah, it started. Yeah. So he's like crossing the road But as he crosses to the other side, it's a bear. So I'm like, oh my God. So we all kind of saw that. We were like, oh yeah, definitely. We're definitely all seeing this. So then I said, well, whatever that is on this side now with us. So we better get going before it comes over here.
And we're totally blowing it off. Me and the other guy were like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's probably an animal. You know what I mean? Who knows? Whatever.
Yeah. So I barely get those words out. Like, we should go before whatever that is comes over here. And it is literally this 7-foot tall shadow charging us, grunting at us, like just coming at us full speed, has these big rack of antlers, and it's like almost right in our face, and we shine our flashlights on it.
Yeah.
And it's gone. Nothing.
It's like it never existed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you could feel like the weight of it coming at us. Like you could hear its footprints on the ground. You could hear the grunt, like it was gone.
So how would you describe it?
It's about like 7 foot tall, black shadow. Like it was just like absorbing the moon.
The light. Oh,
yeah. Okay. And you could see it. Like we didn't need the flashlights to see it because the moon was so bright that night. And it was just like blacker than the night. It was just this dark shadow, like
a void.
Yeah. Like just absorb the moon.
Absence of whatever else is around it. The black hole is a void.
Huh. Yeah. I remember you guys were mentioning this somewhere else. Maybe it was like one of our first like conversations with the other lady, Heather, that we talked with, like when we were trying to feel each other out kind of thing. And I just remember, throwing these ideas at you, like, was it a Wendigo? Was it a deer lady, deer male, and stuff like that? And you kept shooting it down and stuff. Did you guys ever get anywhere as far as what it may or may not have been or something?
Recently, and I'm really not leaning towards this, but recently I found that one of the main tribes in North America, we have an offshoot of that tribe, the Lenape, in the area. And they would actually carry that Wendigo lore, but it wasn't a Wendigo. Like if you look at everything anybody has to say about the Wendigo, it's coming for your soul. It's coming to eat you. It's coming to devour you. And it wasn't. To me, it wasn't a threat. I mean, we felt threatened in the moment. I think we immediately, after we shined the lights at the thing and it wasn't there, we immediately ran to the cars and left. Got out of there. We actually sat in the car and probably 10 minutes before we said anything to each other on the way home. And I literally said that I was like, Gab, you don't think that was what I...
Yeah, we were both like, do you think that was a...
Don't say it. Yeah, she's don't say it.
Then I was like, well, why did it let us leave? Yeah. Why did it, what did we ever do to make it come after us? Like, Yeah.
So we're not leaning towards that. But
no.
There is the lore that like I said, I recently looked up with the local Lenape tribe that used to inhabit the area. But I don't even know how close they would have been to that particular area. That would have been a little further south towards like the Delaware Water Gap or up in like, where's Pike County? That would be
north, right?
North,
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how local they would be. We have horrible records in this area, specifically in the Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. Well, I shouldn't even say Wilkes-Barre because Wilkes-Barre holds pretty good records. They had compared to Scranton.
Yeah.
Scranton and Lackawanna County in general are really tough at keeping records. So if you want to go out and you want to look for this historical tribal information, it's gonna be tough to find. They just didn't care about history. They didn't keep good records.
And so you bring up a real good point, and I talk about this with some people about a location here, and it was for one of the old like tuberculosis like hospital things here, and so the little nutshell version for you guys is like after this tuberculosis place shut down and it went to the new owners, et cetera, and it still got passed down. It finally got to the hands of one of the fire departments of that town. Well, anyway, they never have opened these other buildings that were part of it until now, because they're trying to turn this place into like the haunted house type of thing. So when they opened up these like doors for the first time, there's old records in there and documents. So they gave them to somebody, but from what I hear, they never kept them. They just probably just threw them in the trash or something. So they never like properly handed them off to like the historical society or something.
Yeah. So it's gone.
Yeah. And I only can say that just because I have been into this historic society, and there's really not much on this location anymore, which is sad. Compared to like this other place that's further south for me, where like our Brattleboro was treated, which was also known as one of our original like insane asylums. Mm-hmm. I mean, that historical society down there, that south, I would have to spend a whole day there just to go through everything of how much stuff they actually have, from old patient letters to the old like menus of like what they served to the patients and everything like that. Like they have it all in this box, and it's just like, oh my God. Like, that's what we need to preserve. So it's just stuck that, something as simple as giving these documents that could change the way we look out of a place is gone. It's like, well, shit, like that just sucks. So now we have to kind of rely on the legend, or maybe like this little paragraph that's in this town history book.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, well, lost history breeds legends. So I mean, that's how it happens,
Yep. Yeah. I mean, they were still nice enough to let me take one of the historical book things that kind of have like a couple little paragraphs, but I think that's also because they had way too many books, or they just wanted to get rid of them. Which is fine. I'll take them. And then they had some extra postcards of like what the old place looked like. So of course I wanted them.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they kind of looked at me funny too. They're like, "Why do you want these?" And I'm like, "Why not? It's history." So,
because it's people like you that turn them up in like things like newspapers.com. You know what I mean? Like that's how that stuff gets in. That's people submitting that data. Like you never know who's gonna have what.
Right. Well, that's what I loved about that historical place down south, because everything that I sort of wanted to find is on the Internet Archive website, except for like obviously the patient letters and this and that. That would be the only reason why I would need to go back down there. But otherwise, if I wanted to find the record of the insane asylum cemetery that's there, and or whatever the other record is, basically, like it's online. So that's the only great thing about it. The only thing that I wish now is like some of the town history stuff is more, whether it be the history of the town itself or maybe even the cemetery record, like the one I just showed you recently that I found, Jody, for New Haven. I mean, stuff like that should be online, should be scanned and online, or at least, wrote in like a notepad or something and just throw it up there. That way, once that piece of paper pamphlet thing is, really far gone to save, I mean, at least we still have it, sort of.
Yeah.
Now, what about you guys as far as like, when it comes to trying to find these locations? Are you, Gabrielle, looking into the lore first, or are you doing it by like ear, and Jody just kind of relies on you and goes with the experience? Like, how do you two pick a place to go check out?
I think the location comes first. I don't really need to know that someone says it's haunted to want to go there and investigate it. Just because I feel like, I mean, there are certain things that could lend a place to being haunted, but then I also feel like, I don't know, anywhere you go, you could find anything to communicate with. Something is everywhere. Whatever it is, it's, everywhere you go, you're going to be able to connect to something. So we just kind of find like things with interesting history, like unique locations, things maybe with like certain architecture that I would be interested in. Just anything really that piques our interest. And then we'll just kind of we'll all look into the history and different things. Jody likes to go into them blind. So
now, Jody, is that just because you would like to let the environment talk to you?
Yeah, I like to go in and see what turns up. And then if you go back and look at the history afterwards, then sort of connect the dots. No, I don't know if that's a great thing. It's whether you know the history beforehand or not, when you go into these things and you're getting experiences, you're always going to try to connect those dots anyway. So I'm kind of like waffling back and forth on that a little bit, but Gabrielle loves the history. She likes to do that stuff ahead of time. A lot of the time, I just don't. I don't have the interest until I get there. Like, I'm a visual person. If I get there and I see something and I'm like, oh, geez, what's that? Like, I'm going to look it up because I'm curious.
Well, but it's a great way to segue into, like, I think that's why I kind of like going to a place and let the environment talk to me, because, like, as you said, and as Gav just said too, like, something is going to want to reach out to you no matter where you go. And I think the less I think the less of the power of suggestion is, because that's kind of interesting, because if Gabrielle knows the location, but you're going in blind, how much of that is influencing your investigation that night?
Yeah.
So if we go to a place where there's like a known haunting, we don't go for the obvious. Like, there's nothing that bothers me more. That's how I'm going to say it. Nothing bothers me more than going to a location and being told what spirits I'm going to find there.
Which you're going to get at all the big ones. You go to Gettysburg, any tour you go on, they're going to tell you exactly what spirits are there, what they do. I
blame the overpopularness of it.
Yeah, exactly. They all seem to hate women, and it's always like little kids that like to play with toys and stuff like that.
So I just kind of go in and try to find out what's there. I don't go in with like a preconceived notion. I know the history. I know what's happened there. I know how to kind of like approach any entity that could be there. But I don't go in with an expectation of what I'm going to find or who I'm going to find. I kind of let the environment tell me who's communicating with me.
Okay. Yeah. So you're, in a way, you're like myself when I do my investigations. Like, I really, really heavily rely on the environment, just because, as you just said, I mean, if an area gets too popular, like I'll give an example, like our place at Emily Bridge, everybody knows that damn place. But the one thing I've noticed since I've investigated there, man, I haven't been back there to investigate since like July 3rd of 2012. But what was interesting to me about after this investigation there is that, yes, we may have possibly have seen the spirit of Emily, but there's somebody else there that nobody seems to be talking about. He is very big. He's a male, and he's got a very interesting height and face. And I'm only saying that because at the time of the capture of the photo I've taken, there's like it's almost like a grin. Like, think of like the Joker grin, where it's like you can see the teeth right here, but it's not filled in like a grin. You just to me, it's almost like the outline of like what should be like a grin, I guess, but all you're seeing is teeth and eyes and like some sort of weird nose or something. Almost like he is trying to manifest for the picture, but it's just whatever was going on and captured at that moment was what I was able to only get. But whoever this is, nobody seemed to be talking about. So I guess in a way, I guess that would fall into like what you're sort of saying, Gabrielle. If I'm correct.
Fits in exactly with our shadow entity. I can't find anybody local that has had the experience.
No. And we've searched every type of avenue you could try. We've gone through Aleshi, through Forest Guardians, through Cairnanos. We've tried, we've tried, well, Pan wouldn't fit. Pan has horns, not antlers. So we've like been through everything. And the closest we've got now is we just recently learned of something called the Ingleby Monster, which kind of matches the most with what we experienced there.
You found a very specific story.
Yeah.
And it literally had every characteristic of our experience.
Yeah.
Down to the flashlights and it just disappearing with the flashlights. It was...
Well, they never saw it.
Well, yeah, exactly. They heard it, but there was nothing there. So it was similar enough that it got our attention.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, would that local or would that like more overseas thing that came here?
Still in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's like almost 2 hours. I think it's like an hour and a half away from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean you guys need to go over there to see?
We have been talking about that, maybe taking a trip out there to see kind of what happens when we're there. Yeah, I mean, we've never seen, we go back every month at least. It took us 3 months to go back, mostly me. It took me 3 months to work up the courage to go back. But we go back at least one time a month now to the local spot, and we'll leave offerings, we'll do rituals, we'll clean it up. We'll do like, just research while we're out there, like paranormal research, and then just kind of, letting it know, like, we're here, we respect you. We want to work in harmony together. And I'll even say, like, please, if you're going to show yourself, like, just do it in a form that's not going to scare me.
Well, so would, trying to present this as, weaving the offerings and stuff, have you seen like a shift now with that place with you guys? Yeah.
So when we first started doing this, we would still notice it was so you will go, you'll see shadows, you'll see lights, like almost like will-o'-the-wisp lights. Different colors, like in different locations, even in the winter when there's not a lightning bug, so it's not that, and we know it's not car lights because you're too far from the road, and there's no road in that location where you're looking, and when you're leaving, you're feeling like something it's pacing you out, it's walking you out, it's making sure you're leaving. You're being told pretty specifically, like, it's time to go now. And you can just like feel it. And then we'll start to leave. It's following you out. But I would say the last 2, maybe 3 times we've gone, I haven't felt that at all.
Oh, as far as making sure you're even and pacing you out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Understood.
It's like you feel like you're alone. That's the only way you could explain it. It's like, oh, we're alone right now, and it's not following us anymore. And I think we had gone maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and we had almost like a Bigfoot-like experience. And I think it stopped following us after that.
That was around the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one where Jody were talking about possibly hearing? Now, correct me too, obviously, Jody, but you heard something like rock clapping or whatever, or maybe that was tree.
Yeah, that's the one. I don't know if it was like picking up rocks and clapping them together, or if it was because at one point I noticed it sounded like rocks were falling down a ravine, that sort of thing, like almost like a little mini landslide.
Mm-hmm.
But there was definitely something moving back there. Like that wasn't water moving it. It wasn't. There was something.
Yeah.
Back there.
Interesting.
Interacting. We heard footsteps. We heard the rocks shuffling around.
Yeah.
And we just sort of sat there and observed for a few minutes. It eventually kind of went away, but we couldn't see anything.
No.
That usually always seems to be one of the number one things somebody will say. They can hear it, but they can't see it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It always interests me when you hear that, because it's like you should see it. Like,
yeah, if it's making all that noise, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm glad that you brought up the Will of the Wisp too, Gab. So if we haven't yet, just out of curiosity, you don't have to specifically say the location, but just to kind of give us a general idea of this area. Was there like any sort of mining logging? Like, is there some sort of like mineral there that, sometimes people will even say, I don't even know why these specific minerals are even here.
So we've looked into it, and most of the area that we live in is covered like with mines. But in this area, there really aren't any.
There is a rock quarry.
There's a rock quarry. Oh, yeah,
That's
there's a rock
nearby.
quarry on the other side of the mountain.
And that is specifically like a quartzite sandstone. So you do have quartz.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. That's
so you get into things like piezoelectricity, and quartz has properties, of that low EMF field sort of stuff. So
now, have you tried reading? Sorry, Jody, but have you tried getting some reading there, like just to see if like the environment shifted before you investigate versus during investigation?
We have had K2 meters go off up there. We've had the REM pod go off up there for no reason. There's nothing up there.
You don't even have cell service.
Yeah, there's no cell service. You get maybe a little AM and FM radio, and that's even very spotty. The geography of the land is that you're pretty much in a ravine there, very close to a mountain. So if the radio signal isn't coming from the parallel to that area, you're not going to get it. It's not going to go through the mountain. You know what I mean? So it's pretty interesting. The stuff I'm interested in with the quartzite and piezoelectricity and all that EMF it's too low of a frequency that your devices aren't going to pick it up. So you need really sophisticated and highly advanced, normally custom built devices to pick that stuff up. So I've toyed around with ultrasound and
ultrasound, yeah,
which we can't hear anyway. You know what I mean? Apparently, our bodies could feel it, from what I understand, but you can't hear it. It's too low of a frequency. So this low magnetic stuff and low sound frequency stuff is really interesting to me in these areas.
Have you looked into the side effect of low frequencies, of what it can do, like these low frequencies can do to your body?
Yeah, that's a mixed bag. The scientific community swears that you can't perceive it. It doesn't affect you. It's too low of a frequency. But people that are out there doing like their own studies, in areas where there's like high strangeness, there's always low frequency and like ultrasound sort of things going on. So there might be something to it. Just because we can't hear it or see it, are we perceiving it a different way? You know what I mean? Is our body feeling it?
Right, exactly. And that's what I guess what I'm trying to say is, because I think it's like the higher the frequency too, the more you may feel dizzy, sick, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whereas the low might just be, I'm trying to think, like maybe, I don't want to say dread, but maybe dread. I mean, I forget how it worked. It's that more higher versus the lower, but either way, I'm just wondering.
with the high frequency, I think the waves hit you faster and more frequently. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like an overload. With the low stuff, there's large gaps in between the waves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like it's a low frequency vibration that may
That's
be affecting.
Interesting that you say that. So you're surrounded by woods. There's some mines and stuff. Water. Is there some sort of water?
Yeah, the stream. Yeah, there's a stream there. Yeah.
And then you got mountain. So it makes me wonder if there is some sort of frequency thing going on there. What to say? I wonder, because of the environment, if it's kind of making that wave effect that you were just talking. So depending on where you are, you're getting that low or high frequency of the area.
Yeah, I think when you're surrounded because it's a ravine, it's like a little like a ditch, a gully. So you have a mountain on each side. But sound carries, right? So I mean, it's possible you're picking up the sound of the stream, the sound of people doing people things, and that's like echoing through that sort of ravine. I've often thought about that. Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, we also hear water carry sound and everything else anyway. So I mean, yeah. So, and I got some perfect examples too of like some stupid. Well, I don't find it stupid, but it's just kind of funny when it comes to that aspect. Like, this will be perfect because I didn't get a chance to share it with you guys on when I was on for you guys. So when we did a short film for our lady passenger story here, that's like a 10-minute drive for me. Mm-hmm. We went back to that area to record, just because I wanted to make sure the environment of the sound stayed the same for like Tessa's voice and stuff, just because I would just love the idea of just recording at the actual place anyway. Mm-hmm. All the ambience of the sounds of the bird, whatever's there, just to be included. Especially with the fact that you hear at this specific area, supposedly to hear these ghostly voices over the water of the swamp. That gets carried down, even though the water isn't really technically moving. But so anyway, long story short is, so we went there, and I had the recorder as best as I could in the car, and I was just like, told Tessa, I was like, okay, put your window down or whatever. We'll just wait a couple seconds and then just bolt out your scream, your blood-curdling scream. She's like, oh, I'm going to step out of the car, actually. And I'm like, okay. So she steps out of the car, and all of a sudden she just lets out this blood-curdling scream. And we're right by the water, so of course it gets carried. Come to find out, as we're driving away, there's people there. Whoops.
It happens.
Yep. So hopefully we kind of gave them a good little time right there. So hopefully if they knew about the legend, hopefully that.
Oh, you created a new one. That's what happened. They went home and they told all their friends that there was a lady in black screaming across the way or something.
Yeah, probably. But it's just funny because another place that's nearby this location, it never used to be gated off. Now it's gated off.
Yeah.
But probably because of the fake blood that we used there. So whoops. It's just, we just like to have fun, but I guess what I was trying to go with the whole carrying of the water thing is like, it makes me wonder, with still water, like swampy water, how far could the sound reach if it's not really moving? But if you maybe with the same measure, the wind and everything else that may factor into carrying the sound down, especially with water. Yeah. Especially with the water, just making it move on the surface, if I can say that. Like, it just makes me wonder how far a sound could actually go. Well, especially if we're going down or up. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My brother-in-law has a camper on a lake, and the lake's pretty wide. You can hear people having conversations from across the lake if the lake is completely still and like the conditions are right. You can actually hear them going back and forth having a conversation. And I thought that was the weirdest thing ever. Plus, if you've ever been on a boat, if you're on a boat in the middle of the water, you could hear everything that's going on around you.
Yeah, that's true.
Sound just reflects. Yeah. So you hear about like these like mariner stories, you know what I mean, where they hear ghosts on the water and they make up this folklore. It's like, well, maybe they're hearing something from the mainland or other ships, boats, whatever.
You guys must have some sort of ghost story about, like, I don't know, people on a rowboat or something that gone missing, because we have one here.
I can't recall any specifically. Like, I've heard stories before, not specifically to our area, but
this one would, while you guys think on that one, this one you guys would get a kick of. I know Gabrielle will. So there's a freaking island here. They call it Rabbit Island, but that's where they also call it where the giant rabbit is with red eyes. So
oh wow.
And that's where supposedly the giant like eels are and this and that. Oh, it's freaking funny as hell. But yeah, so this is the same area sort of where like there used to be this old town. Like old, I'll just say Old Castleton for right now because I really can't remember if that's exactly the specific town. But anyway, so that used to have its own thing going on business wise, right? So one night, these 3 people wanted to row across to go get like beers or something and to bring back to their fellow workers, or maybe they just wanted to come over here to party just because of work or whatever. Well, they had set out in a rowboat. They got somewhere in the middle of this lake, and this great big thick fog came in, supposedly. But by the time the fog left the lake, it was just a rowboat. The 3 men were not on the rowboat anymore.
Oh wow.
So we have that here. So supposedly the legend goes on a full moon night, you could possibly see this ghostly rowboat.
Oh wow,
that's cool.
Yeah, that's a cool story.
Yeah, and the old foundations of this town is still there. I just learned where it is, so one day maybe I'll go check it out.
Let's say you gotta go looking.
Yeah, it was weird because I tried putting it into my GPS once. And I tried following it, and it wanted me to cut into this golf course. And when I realized it was a golf course, I'm like, I'm turning around now.
Yeah.
So I need to figure out the other way, I guess. But it's funny to me because where this specific area is, it's like a 20 or 30 minute drive more to where our Hubbardton battlefield is. Which I thought was very interesting. And so, of course, once I figured that out, I was just like, well, screw it. Since I can't get over here, I'm just going to go to the battlefield again. Because there's an old cemetery in the back of the battlefield. And they have those great big, like, gravestones, like the one where I'm trying to even think of an example, like they're the size of like maybe 2 doors if you like merge 2 doors together, like that's how big these are. So like if they're gonna fall, they're gonna totally break in half, like and crumble.
Yeah,
so it would be a bit to definitely preserve these stones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I used to joke too, like we should have named our old team the Full Moon Investigators because it always seemed we always went during full moons, and I think that was just because
I feel like there's a theme here in this conversation. The full moon keeps coming up.
Well, yeah, because
what is the moon phase now anyway?
I don't know.
Can you imagine? fixated on the full moon.
Yeah, right. Well, I think the full moon just passed or is coming up, one or the other. And but what I just find interesting is like going on the full moon. You don't have to rely on having to be like, hey, if there's any spirits here and if you need energy, use it up from our equipment or use it from me, even though you probably shouldn't be doing that. But, it's just still like you don't have to worry about that energy aspect because they can just pull from the energy of the moon anyway.
Yeah.
So, and everything else, depending on what's around too, as we were kind of just talking about with minerals and etc. But like where this battlefield is, there is some water, but I almost feel like it's like handmade because it's more for like a what do they call that? Maybe like a Japanese garden, and it's hidden. Like I forget who told me, but they're like
a viaduct.
Yeah, and I forget who told me though, but they were like, oh. Since you're right by the battlefield, if you actually go down that dirt road right by the battlefield, like a quarter of the mile and take a left and follow that, it goes into like this big open area. But if you get out and go to the right, that's where the garden is. And so we just like, okay, whatever, let's go do that. So we saw turkeys on the way, animal omen, stuff like that. We thought a beautiful view to have like chairs that you can just sit down and just look at the view. And then over to the right, there's this garden for like a Japanese garden thing. And it's just like, wow, like how come I've never heard of this? It's just because nobody really wants to share it.
Yeah,
which is fine.
The trips bring you on to neat locations, to things you've never seen before, which is part of the draw to it.
Yeah.
So you go hunting down these legends, and guess what? You're gonna see some neat shit.
Yeah, and like actually 2 years ago too, I think I went to the reenactment for the battle that went on there. I was like, well, you know what? I want to try something, and I'm curious to know if you guys even tried this, which is just go to like a reenactment, maybe film it to see if you guys can measure anything from like, let's say, an EMF or something. If something goes off, like because of them reenacting, if that will help trigger something, almost like the trigger object.
There's two reasons why I don't do that. One is because I want to respect what's going on around me, what these people are doing, because that's their job, right?
Yep.
And the other thing is I don't want to be the weirdo pulling out, my ghost hunting equipment while this stuff is going on, But
why not? I mean, just real quick, just to kind of comment on that comment is like I had a little camera there in my EMF, and I just set it up. That's it. But right to my right is somebody from the news, and they were asking me what I was doing. And I was just like, oh, I'm just curious. I'm just curious to see if this thing goes off while they're reenacting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, at Fort Mifflin, I think they do a small cannon reenactment at midnight, right?
Oh, every night. Every time you're there at midnight.
Yeah, at midnight, they fire off a cannon.
They spend the whole night warning you the cannon's going to go off at midnight, and you're never prepared, ever.
Not at midnight, that's for sure. Oh, I'm just going to wind down. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an old, like, Revolutionary War cannon that they're firing off at midnight. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's worse, a cannon or muskets. So
yeah.
Especially when you get 200 of them, give or take. Yeah.
And for the number of times that we've been at Gettysburg, I don't think we've ever seen a reenactment.
No.
So, I mean, for me, it's not my thing. I like to go experience the history on my own, time. When you're hunting down the reenactments, you got to figure out what dates they're doing them, what time. You got to be there for a certain time, and it's just
I do wonder though if participating in a reenactment could cause a time slip.
You and your time slip.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I want to experience time slip really bad.
It is really weird though. In a way, you are experiencing it when you see, like, not personally, I haven't seen them, but you see the people walking around town in Gettysburg in their garb, and you're like, yeah, they're just they're reenactment. They're doing the reenactments, right. I didn't just see what I think I saw, right? No, for sure, they're actors.
Yeah.
So that's funny that you say that too about the schedules and dates and times and stuff, Jody. Stuff.
Yeah.
So the past one that we just did was literally last weekend, and what was funny about it was that following Friday night, I think it was, as we were getting back from getting some stuff to prepare for Amara's birthday for the next day kind of thing, or maybe later on that night. These two people walk out from where Tessa's like apartment thing is, and they're dressed up like they're going to like a reenactment. And I said, "Oh, you guys going to Fort Ticonderoga or whatever for the battle reenactment?" "Oh no, we're going to Hubbardton in Vermont." Get what?
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's funny.
I was just like, hell yeah. That's so cool. Funny. But no, it's a great time. Even though they are in character, and I've been there for the reenactment because I think I paid like $15-20 to get in, but to me it was worth it because I've never really been to experience it. But the way that all these volunteers do it, it's really fun to see. Especially there was a bar for like the good spirits or whatever they called it back then, just to go sit and talk like with an older time frame. They offered that, so it was just
that's cool.
Yeah, they stay in character and all that.
Yeah, they stayed in character.
Yeah.
Yep. So
yeah, we saw a really good one down in Philly. I think it was the Betsy Ross house.
Yeah.
The lady really stayed in character. You could talk to her and like
Freaked me out.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah,
that was not break character.
Nope. Yeah, neither did this person. I loved it because if you tried to ask something that's more modern, they were kind of like pardon, like they didn't like
exactly.
know. Yeah, I loved it, dude. So it made me think how to like, way back then, how would you word something? So made me start to really think about and appreciate the old English a little bit. So, but anyway, I get to transfer to a different topic. You guys wanted to talk to me about something, Centralia or something?
Centralia.
I didn't think we were ever into this. Yeah, we have a few things from Pennsylvania actually.
We have some cool things that have happened here in Pennsylvania. But Centralia, yeah. So I know you said that you weren't familiar with it, that you didn't know anything. So I'll give you like the quick history of what happened in Centralia.
Okay.
It was zombies.
No. Zombies? I thought you were going to say vampires because of Centralia,
Oh, wait till you hear the story.
So in 1962, there's a mine fire. And a lot of people, different sources, they agree that it had been a controlled burn of their local landfill, but it got out of hand. So then May 7th, I think the fire either started like early May or late April. I can't remember. So May 7th, city council meets, they address illegal dumping issues. Oh no, it started late May. So this is kind of like the beginning of everything now. So on May 7th, city council meets and they address illegal dumping issues at an open pit that's left over from strip mining. So they wanted to kind of get rid of this to prepare for Memorial Day. They're having a celebration. So they're like, how do we get rid of this pit?
Are you familiar with strip mining, Paul?
A little bit.
Just for your listeners, I feel we should explain it. Instead of burrowing into the ground and tunneling underneath the land, they would basically dig giant pits, giant holes from the ground down as far as they could go to get to the coal. And they would just strip the coal out and they would just leave these holes there. So they would fill up with water, and then you'd have water creating underground, sinkholes and stuff like that. It's really bad for the environment. So
So here they were using it like a legal dumping ground. So they decide that they're going to hire the volunteer firemen, and they're going to come in, they're going to set it on fire. And that's how they're going to get rid of all the things that are in this strip mine. So now May 26th comes and the fire starts. They thought they had extinguished the flames. They thought they got everything. But then within days, whatever had continued, what was still lit, is now like continuing to smolder. It's still on fire. There is actually a hole in the pit where they had burned that actually is right near a crack into the coal mines. So when that fire, yes, so the fire comes down and it hits that crack and it takes off into the crack and it lights the coal mine on fire.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So now they're trying to get rid of the fire. They're flushing it out. Nothing is working. There's like issues with poor funding. They don't have accurate mapping of the area. And then they accidentally introduce oxygen in. So now that all is making the fire worse. So for about 2 decades, about 20 years, people still remained in Centralia. And then in 1979, a local gas station owner, he put a thermometer in one of his tanks and the temperature was 170 degrees.
No.
So in February of 81, a young 12-year-old boy, he nearly fell into a 150-foot sinkhole that opens up. And then it was just right in his grandmother's yard. He almost falls in. So that opens. And now there's like toxic gases coming out. Things like carbon monoxide are escaping. In 1983, the Federal Office of Surface Mining determines that the fire is spreading rapidly and they need to remedy it, but it would cost hundreds of millions of dollars. So their solution is they take $42 million and they're going to relocate the residents. So there's 500 residential and commercial properties for over 1,000 people that are involved in this relocation. And from my understanding, there's still 2 houses that remain there today. People that are saying, no, we're going to live out the rest of our lives here. We're not leaving. So in 1992, the governor petitions and he wants to evoke eminent domain. A small group of people are still holding up. They're putting up a legal fight and they win. And as of 2013, there's a settlement that the remaining residents can stay there and they can live out the remainder of their days in Centralia. In 2020, the census showed there were 5 residents in total. And so experts, they say that Centralia has enough fuel to burn for about 250 more years.
Oh, that coal is underground. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to keep spreading. Keep going.
So do you know the game Silent Hill?
Yep. And that's what it's based off of.
So a lot of people say it's based off of that, but it's not actually based off Centralia. The movie was kind of based off of Centralia, but the game took inspiration from like David Lynch and Stephen King.
Interesting.
Yeah. So my favorite theory about Centralia is actually the zombies. So if you really, really, really search and you really go down a rabbit hole with Centralia, you'll find a theory. I think it's a Reddit post that there were zombies.
A conspiracy theory.
Yeah, but it's my favorite. That there were zombies and they put all the zombies in the mine and they set it on fire and they locked them in and now the mines won't stop burning.
Oh man, you guys should look into the I think it was a war-based lab or something that is around Maine, and they ended up blasting the door shut to keep whatever was inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems familiar, Paul.
It's escaping me right now, so I apologize.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I know I've heard of it before.
It's make me think of like Montauk in New York.
Oh yeah, Montauk.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the experiment that went on there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just, Centralia is just such a haunting area, and it's so close by to us, and I've never been there. Well, shouldn't say that. I believe I drove through when I was younger with my parents. That's how I got the story. My father was really into it. But it's just a haunting area. There's all these abandoned houses and buildings. A lot of them have been, I believe, remedied by now. But there's an interstate that used to pass through it.
Yeah, graffiti highway.
Graffiti highway. It's all
Yep.
written over with graffiti, and there's holes with basically venting with the heat that comes out. It's not safe.
Poisonous gas comes out.
Poisonous gas. Yeah. So you really have to know what you're doing if you go there. It's not safe.
And they just covered the graffiti highway, so people won't. Yeah. They don't want people there anymore. I don't think
they
you're
just
allowed
blocked
on the
something
highway.
too. Yeah, I think they blocked something too, like the what is it, the road or something. They blocked something. I know that. I remember reading about this recently. But yeah, that's probably why I keep forgetting it's Centralia. Yeah, usually I'm just used to hearing it being called the Sound Hill Road. So
yeah, that's literally, if you see it, it's eerie. It's an abandoned town with gas that's coming out of the ground and heat. And I mean, in the
you can see the steams and shit. Yeah.
In the wintertime, there's big barren spots where the vents are. Probably safer to go there in the winter, you know what I mean? If you're really into it, because then you'll know, which areas to stay away, especially in the snow. You'll have big barren spots where there's no snow. So,
was it Plum Island?
I think so.
Plum Island,
the place in Maine, Plum Island.
Yeah, maybe.
What the main
I think where that
base
is.
that had doors blown up to keep whatever inside. I'm gonna quickly look that
whatever.
up. It was the Warren Air Force Base.
Okay.
In Limestone, Maine.
Plum Island in New York. So that was wrong.
Well, do you guys? I don't know how much you guys know about Maine too, but they have a cool spot that's in northern Maine. Oh man, I just talked about it now. I can't even remember where it's from. I think it's around Portland, Maine, maybe a little bit past that, but they call it the Ghost Train Yard.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
No,
we kind of have something here.
It's basically just abandoned like trains. Still like somewhat tracked, but they're just there. And I think there's like there's 110 ton abandoned steam locomotive located deep in the Algergas wilderness.
Oh, just out in the middle of nowhere. So they kind of left them to the elements.
Wow.
We were in Scranton. We have Steamtown, so we see things similar to that. We have two museums. We have a trolley museum, and we have a Steamtown National Historic Museum nearby. And you could go there for public events and you go in with your schools. And we've actually done an investigation at the trolley museum, and they have all these they have a yard out back at the Steamtown National Historic Museum. All the old cars and engines will sit there until they could restore them. A lot of them never get to that point because it's all, public funding and money that's, paying for all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just super cool to see these old cars and trolleys and engines. It's just, it's history. It's awesome. People around here love trains too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I've been on some sort of train ride before, and I just don't remember when and why. It's one of those type of things where you just do it and you can't remember. But I just remember it because I remember just looking outside, going this is a cool way to look at the wilderness or whatever in general in a different way. So.
That's how people used to travel, and you get to see areas that are on cliffs and ravines that you can't normally get to. The railway made it happen. So
totally. And speaking of going back to wildfires and now the trains, I just recently saw footage that Tessa had sent me of this train that was kind of engulfed inside the wildfire.
I saw that.
Oh wow,
dude, that had to have been creepy as shit.
It had to be.
Oh my god!
It had to be terrifying.
Yeah, Yeah, like they needed to figure out what to do and stuff, like, because definitely time was not on their side, that's for sure.
Did you watch and the train drove by them on the other track?
No, I didn't see that one.
Oh, I gotta send you that one. That's really creepy. It's like, oh my God, it's surreal.
Yeah, I have not seen that one. I just saw the one where they're basically just engulfed in the fire, and I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. Yeah, it's just as bad as, like, I'll just to stick with the train disasters and trains in general. Did, like, back on February 4th of 1887, or 5th morning of the 5th. Vermont experienced one of their worst, like, train disasters in West Hartford, where like it was during the winter time, and a train had dived into the river that's there, plunged down into the cold, freezing waters, and there was some injured, there was some that died, and there's actually some that never got hurt, but still, like, it's a crazy example of what can happen when things weren't meant to be, looked at in a way of safety precautions. And because of that helps set the guidelines for specific things in the trail, in the railway business thing. So more guidelines. So it's really, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's sad when disaster has to become the way of setting the future.
Yeah.
Because of our stupid mistakes. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm. What else do you have before we wrap it up, Gabrielle? Was there something else that you would like to share? You kind of mentioned
I know you're itching
your
for
show,
it.
so I guess
you want us.
Oh, I was going to say, well, when we talked about vampires, when I talked vampires with you guys, I had mentioned we didn't have that cage thing around our cemeteries, graves. So you guys do.
More
zombies from coming out. Yes, that.
Yeah.
Well, which we found out really wasn't
No, it's to keep people from robbing the graves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you got to create a little legend.
Right.
So.
Well, we had a college. Actually, I can say it. It's in the newspaper, so fuck it. Anyway, back in 1830s, Catholic State College, they used to do grave robbing, so they could do that for the cadavers for like their medicine practices.
No.
So anyway,
that's how we learned human anatomy. People were robbing graves and doing basically autopsies just to find out how the human body worked.
It worked and everything else. So it got to the point where they had robbed an important person's dead wife. And it got so bad that the college were trying to hide the identity of the lady by chopping her head off.
Oh, no.
But they still figured her out, and they ended up finding her head eventually. But yeah, they literally went as far as to do that.
Oh my gosh.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
All for science.
Yeah. Wow.
And supposedly where the old chapel is, where they used to do all these practices, they turned that into a museum, so you can see all the old tools and skulls and stuff.
That's cool.
So maybe one day I'll check that out, but it seems to always be hard to get a hold of anybody for that place.
Yeah. Did you ever hear, this is one of my favorite stories.
Okay.
Did you ever hear about, it was back when they used to have theaters, and they would do the surgeries in the theaters and people could come and watch?
Oh, I sort of know what you're talking about, but probably not for this Pennsylvania one.
So there, I don't know if it's Pennsylvania or somewhere else, but it's one of my favorite stories.
Okay, what
They
states I know it?
surgery, and it had a 300% death rate. So
300%.
300%. So the patient died, one of the doctors died, and someone watching died.
Oh no.
What?
That's tricky, tricky.
Yeah. I think the patient was hurt during the surgery and died. The doctor cut themselves, I think, and died. And then the patient or the person watching got so scared they had a heart attack and died. I think that's the way it goes. The details might be different, but yeah, you could Google it, like surgery with a 300% mortality rate.
Somebody was biting their nails, got a nail infection, died from that.
I mean, I could see that's how the doctor died because of infections.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, going back to like war and Gettysburg, I mean, let's be honest, a leg amputation, arm amputation would not, what's that word I'm looking for?
No, you had a 50-50 chance of dying.
Yeah, it was gruesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, germs and whatever that's still on this old rusted freaking saw or whatever they want to use.
They would just wipe it off on their apron and then just go to the next person. Like,
yep. Talk about non-sanitary cleaning. Yeah. That's maybe the word I'm looking for. Yep. Nope. No, thank you.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see the doctor getting the cut, and if that knife or whatever sculptural thing wasn't clean, yeah, you're screwed, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then if they used it on the dead body, with the say for the example, and then you cut yourself, oh yeah, oh my god.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah. But oh man. Well, is there anything else that I did not want you to talk about for this evening before we wrap it up?
Nothing I could think about. What about you? Do you want to talk about the Albert Witch?
It's interesting. We're kind of blindsiding Paul with this one.
Yeah.
But.
Okay, what is it?
Do you want to start it?
Well, you know who Bigfoot is, right?
No, Jody, I don't know. Who is Bigfoot? Never heard of him.
So Pennsylvania's got plenty of Bigfoot encounters, Bigfoot stories. But did you know we have a little mini Bigfoot?
We have a baby Bigfoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called the Albert Witch.
The Albert Witch.
And it's a little 4-foot tall, Bigfoot-like cryptid. He has reddish brown hair. Some people say his eyes are yellow. And he stays around like this place called Chickies Rock in Columbia County. But there's also been other sightings in like York and Lancaster County and other places too. But he likes to stay around the Susquehanna River, like around that area, like on the banks. And they think that his name actually came from people misinterpreting the word apple snitch. So in German, the word for elf is Alb or Elb. And then schnitz is like a dried apple that they would use for like cooking and baking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they think they were trying to call him like an apple elf. And then people were misunderstanding it. And then he became like an Albert Witch.
And then the whole thing about he steals apples.
Yes. He steals apples from people. And then he'll eat the apples and throw the cores at the people.
Sometimes from a tree.
But here's the crazy part. So the tribe in the area, the Susquehannock, they would go into battle with these shields that had what looked like an Albert Witch painted on them. So he has been around, that was like in the 1600s. So he's been around like 500-600 years, these little guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
A festival out there every year for the Albert Witch and everything.
Yeah.
Finally got to go to last year.
Yeah.
So
you got one last year? Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
so we have cryptids in PA. We also have the squonk, which is ridiculous.
Oh my God. Do you know about the squonk?
Is that the one that cries or something?
Yeah, that's the one.
That's about as far as I know, to be honest.
Yeah.
But before I hear a little bit more from you guys about this thing, then I just want to just make a comment about this Bigfoot with apple thing. Please tell me that you guys have seen Finding Bigfoot, the TV show, and they did a episode here in Vermont where this guy Frank. Oh God, I'm gonna butcher his last name. Anyway, Frank, just look him up if you have to. But he literally thinks he caught a baby Bigfoot on a photo with a possible parent.
Wow.
And this picture, this one and only picture, is from this thing being by an apple tree.
No, well.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So there's that, I guess.
Yeah. Wow.
It's funny.
That is funny.
I feel like I saw that, and it was like holding the baby's hand.
Like you could see little hand, like something was grabbing the bigger hand or arm. So it's pretty well known. But it's the one and only picture. When Finding Bigfoot went out to try to recreate it, you can definitely tell it was massive. Frank had been told that it's nothing but either a ghost, an owl, or something stupid. Like, there's just no way in hell it's any of those.
Yeah. Oh my God, no.
So I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, this thing that cries. I just want to hear a little bit more before we wrap it up. What is this thing?
He's upset at how ugly he is, so he cries.
He
looks
so
like a cross
ugly
between
that he cries.
Yeah,
Got it.
He's so ugly that he cries. He looks like a cross between like a cat and a pig.
He looks like he's like
really weird,
pig-like, but he has like a long snout, like an anteater, and everybody always draws him with little tears in his eyes. I think he's cute.
Wrinkles all over. His body.
He's like wrinkly. And they say he thinks he's ugly, so he cries.
He cries.
We have a self-deprecating cryptid here in PA.
Well, we do have resident cats here in PA too.
Yeah.
And if you look at the pictures, it kind of looks like maybe it could be a cat.
Yeah,
it could be a cat.
Especially like if you have like a bobcat or something like that, and you're not used to hearing how they sound. You might be able to, you kind of hear the cry in the bobcat wail a little bit. So
yeah,
I mean, I do remember. I don't really get to share this one that much, but I do remember back in 2007, me and a couple people went to this abandoned church that's around like this great big pond thing, and old foundations. Like I always try to tell people, I'm not good with distances, so I would say anywhere between 50 to 100 feet, but you have to like climb up this hill to where there's old foundations of whatever company it used to be. And anyway, we're trying to take band photos at the abandoned church, and all of a sudden we heard like this blood curdling scream, and we didn't think anything of it. We're just like, okay, that's weird, because we just knew like animals could make that sound, but it was just like, what if,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The only other thing I will like to share, maybe to help wrap this up too, going back to what do they call that again? Sorry, the what?
The squonk.
The squat.
Squonk.
Squonk. Oh, okay. That for some reason, because it reminds me of a cryptid here, depending on who you talk to. This thing can either be like terrifying, or it can just be like this sad cryptid that like they call it the Northfield Pigman here, where he's like sad and go through people's garbage and shit. So yeah, it's just, another weird one.
Yeah,
but that's what that kind of reminds me of, to wrap that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I wonder if every state has their own weird cryptid.
Yeah,
it's like every state has, like Bigfoot and like the pond monster and whatever, right?
Yeah,
Mothman, and they also have their own weirdo cryptid.
Yeah, there's some.
I think the most stupidest Vermont cryptid we have here is a bat boy.
Oh, okay. I've heard about Bat Boy.
That's about all I can tell you. Because supposedly here where I am, this is where it's from. Some random cave here in the town that I'm in. And I'm just thinking to myself, where would it be? Because it's just like, there's no way in hell we have this stupid cave with a bat boy here. I'm sorry. So,
that's funny.
Yeah, that's about all I got for you tonight anyway. But if that's all for you guys, where can people find Podcast of the Paranormal anyway?
Podcastoftheparanormal.com.
Perfect.
That's her jam. I let her do that. Yeah. So you can go to the website. That's our central hub for everything. Our social media links are on there. Our episodes can be listened to right from the website. We'll have links to pretty much any podcast distributor, anywhere podcasts are streaming. You can get all our info right from that website. And we just updated our logo a little after a year now.
Yeah.
So really excited about that. It's personal to us, and we think it looks great. I don't know.
Well, I would hope so. I mean, you got to stare at it now. So
Yeah.
when you guys make the episode. So I mean, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yep.
Because otherwise,
Otherwise, we'll just make another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, make another one. Well, that's why, when it comes to like logos for me, I kind of got to the point where depending on the topic that we're talking about, I'd like to have like that type of specific logo. So just like Bigfoot chat, I want a Bigfoot logo to go with the episode, kind of
cool.
like that. Yeah.
A little more work, but
a little bit more work, but I mean, if you already have the images and you kind of teach yourself how to just pick and drop thing, then you can just do it yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But anyways, yes, Gabrielle Jody, thank you for your time. And looking forward to whatever everything else drives you to the next as you would call side project. And
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
you're very welcome. And then for all you people that have made it this far, go outside, stretch for a minute, get a cookie, maybe an alien cookie. I just found out my local bakery here has alien cookies and star cookies and shark and seashell. It's a good adventure. But anyway, make sure to check out everything that's going on with Haunted Vermont at hauntedvermont.org. And I am terrible at this. If you're watching the video, I should just have done this too. So let's just do one more thing. Website podcastoftheparanormal.com is where Jody and Gabrielle can be found too. Otherwise, you can just go to hauntedvermont.org. I'm still getting used to this stuff, even though I've been doing it now for a couple months now, but it's still fresh. So anyway, that's about it. So I guess on the cliffhanger note of ending this episode, which is always keep your eyes open. You just never know what you're going to stumble into, whether it be some sort of weird shadowy antler charging at you, hopefully as a bluff charge and nothing else, or maybe you just might step and fall to your doom and hopefully not get smothered to death by smoke and mines and everything else. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.